Is this still the one?
Yeah, the Forest View restaurant is. Yeah. Zoning board approved the zoning change.
Did they really?
Well, it wasn't a zoning change. Was it a zoning change? No, it wasn't.
Which-
It was a variance.
Which way are they going with this? Are they going parallel to?
Yeah, they didn't change.
They didn't change the direction.
No.
So I'm pushback on that.
So Neil, will Cindy be on a Zoom or something, or do we have to take notes?
She's gonna be watching. This is
Okay.
probably her right now, I told her already. I don't see you straight.
Are these meetings live streamed? Or is it just a special setup for her today?
What?
You said someone.
I thought they're live streamed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was poking around on the website. I didn't see anything to like tune in.
Right, Tom?
Morning, Joe.
John, this is, I remember Mike.
Hey,
Reinhold-
I'll get you at the end. How are you?
Okay, she's got it. This one, yeah.
Flooring bid package pretty much done.
Okay.
Get over the Lisa so she can get the agenda for the next meeting to go out and bid it.
All right, good. It's a shame since we all know it's likely to happen, that it takes.
I talked to everybody, they're all on board, so.
Okay. Good. I wish they did the air.
It is.
I feel like if I'm over there.
Oh, yeah, I feel like I'm not there.
That's for Monday.
Oh, for Monday. Oh. Oh, I don't know why they don't. I know you just go turn their temp down.
Start doing that.
Gotta kick on. They need a better board.
Yeah. It's always been
Yeah, nothing you do in this building. Kind of stuff.
He actually could have made this as this is. But the Amazon could have done a nice job.
Oh, oh, they could have, sure. Yeah.
Supervisor suite or attorney supervisor. Or they could have turned it into a wonderful board.
Yeah. Yeah, at that time they could have, yes. They still have the old attorney's space across the next one. That space, storage.
I think it's just storage there.
Yeah, it's all just storage. When I first started working in town, the supervisor's offices were in that's offices.
Yeah. Yeah. This office downstairs, my office, or was it us?
It was across from the taxi.
Okay.
Yeah. At least when I started that back in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Pollution record supervisor. Molly with the town.
All right, please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. Guess we'll have to turn that down.
It was the bing for the start.
That was our new secretary. All right, roll call, Rebecca Anderson.
Yeah.
John Kopis.
Present.
Joseph Keefe.
Here.
Lawrence Korzenski. Here. Anthony Gorski. Here. Mike Reinhold.
Here.
All right, some introductory comments. This is a meeting of the Planning Board of the Town of Lancaster. We are an advisory and recommending body and not a final decision-making board. The rules of the Planning Board allow us to recognize the petitioners of the various projects and their representatives. We ask that anyone wishing to make comment do so in writing. You can send it to Town Hall, 21 Central Avenue, or directly to me. Before we begin our meeting, I want to welcome our new member, Mike Reinhold. Mike has plenty of experiences as a member of the Village Planning Commission, and right now he is the current chairman of the Planning Commission. So we are fortunate to have him on board with the town at this time. Also, hallelujah, I want to welcome our new secretary, Cindy Maciejewski, who is joining us after an 8-month hiatus. Unfortunately, she's ill tonight, but she is watching and taking minutes online, streaming. So we welcome her back. Most of us are familiar with her efficiency and expertise, and we're lucky and thrilled to have her back. Cindy's also a village trustee. She worked for the building department, and she's currently in the supervisor's office, so her background is very helpful as well. Some administrative items, and we do have a public hearing at 7:05. Minutes of the August 17th, 2022 meeting. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at those minutes. Are there any corrections, comments, deletions? Okay, that's a good thing. I don't hear any, so can we have a motion to accept?
So moved. I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by John Kopis, second by Anthony Gorski. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes carried. Communications list. Any questions on the communications list? Okay, if there's nothing, then we can, I'm a little early for the public hearing, but if anybody wishes to speak afterwards, we can do that. So at this time, I will open the public hearing. This is for the minor subdivision, 10 Lancaster Parkway, I believe. 2-lot split. It's zone light industrial. Anybody here wishing to speak on this topic? I'm going to wait till at least 7:05 and a half.
6 after.
Okay, if nobody wishes to speak at this time, then I'll move to close the public hearing. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Larry Korzenski. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, let's move on then to our, we have a seeker, we have 2 seekers tonight. Seeker is the State Environmental Quality Review. The first one is for William Street Minor Subdivision, located at 5550 William Street. Lucas, we're just starting the seeker now. So you can stand by. All right, so this is a unlisted action. So we use the short environmental assessment form, or part 2 of the impact assessment, so the short form. All set? Number 1, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No. 2, will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land? No, or small, right? 3, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No. 4, we have not established a critical environmental area, so we will skip number 4. 5, will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
No.
No. 6, will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. 7, will the proposed action impact existing A, public-private water supplies?
No.
B, public-private wastewater treatment utilities? 8, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. 9, will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources?
Small.
Okay. Wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna.
Does the board want to note that there was an open violation from the DEC for encroachment of the buffer area?
Yeah, did that get resolved?
I haven't seen anything yet, not sure. Yeah, it's resolved, yeah.
Do you have that in writing?
Documentation of that?
We'll need a copy, you'll need a copy for the file.
Yeah.
So yes, it is resolved.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Remediation's done, fines are paid, whatever required you to do.
Yeah, I can explain in detail if you like.
All right, so we'll say that that's no or small impact. Let's make a note there. How do you want to say it? Remediation has,
Violation's been remediated
violation has been remediated
as per DEC,
as per DEC. Thank you.
although we haven't seen it yet. I'd like to see.
DEC's letter said they issued the permit.
They issued a permit? Okay, then it has been remediated and a permit issued.
Okay, 10, will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
No.
11, will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. All right, so can we have a motion? I'm assuming for a negative declaration?
I'll make one if was the permit for disturbance to the 100-foot adjacent area or within the wetland itself, you know?
All it said was the freshwater wetlands permit pursuant to Article 24 was issued for house construction.
Good enough. Then I will make a recommendation
Okay, for a negative
for a
declaration.
negative declaration.
All right, can we have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe Keefe. On the question? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. All right, we're going to go right into the preliminary plat review for this same parcel, 5550 William Street. Lucas, do you want to say anything at this time?
Sure.
Remind us what we're...
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we already did the preliminary review like a month and a half ago. We already talked about this, we already did the review. But I can further explain the violation or anything else needed.
That'd be good. I'd like to know, I know it was an encroachment into the wetland, but was the whole lot in the wetland or just parts of it?
No, it's the encroachment violation was the tree company went like a few feet past where they were supposed to. And I have the map showing exactly where, if you want to see it.
I do.
But it's resolved already, so it was 0.11 acre. It's this tiny little area where the tree company, Tony's Tree Service, just went a little bit further past the line because they didn't know better. You know,
And so it
because
wasn't
the foreman.
flagged.
What's that?
It should have been flagged for them, the wetland boundary. And
So there is 3 wetland markers that were installed as per the exact specifications of that permit that he mentioned. So those are there, but there's no flagging that was supposed to happen. There's no flagging that did happen. It just, you know, it doesn't look like a wetland area. It's very, very dry. So anyway, but I have the map I can show you if you want to see where it was. But this is resolved a while ago. This was signed, the fee was $500. I could have fought that, but I was like, you know, it's not worth delaying it. I'll just pay it. No big deal. And then we did go back in and add some plantings. Honestly, it was such a minor deal that the 2 people that I went over with, Chuck and Angie, neither of them even bothered going to the site at all. So they prescribed a certain number of plants to put back in that very small area. And I did that. I sent them all the pictures. I have the email correspondence with them confirming it was all done and, you know, the payment was received and all that. And I have the actual order of what needs to be done. Unfortunately, it is a long process. Like, I need to give like yearly reports that
Yes, you do.
that the couple plants that were planted are still intact, and, you know, so it's, you know, it'll be a nuisance for a few years here, but it doesn't affect anything else that we're doing.
Were you required to monument with permanent
Like I said,
monuments?
there's 3 monuments there.
Three permanent monuments.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're PVC with concrete inside of them.
Yeah,
And I special ordered little marker tags on them. So yes, that's all been done. But I have the map here, I have the order of consent and also the email correspondence, the last few anyway, showing that they did in fact receive everything needed. It is in full compliance. There's nothing outstanding.
Yeah, it's minor, but this is cumulative. After a while, you get so many minors that they add up big, so that's why they make sure.
Oh, I'm not arguing why they do anything, not at all. Don't
But,
misunderstand.
Please make sure that there's a complete copy of everything you have in the building permit file, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I can pass these around if you want to see the map of the area. Obviously, it's not your job to enforce these at all. It's the DEC's job, but you wanted proof, so I wanted to make sure I brought it.
Yeah, we just need to make sure that it was all resolved before you can get a building permit.
Oh, of course.
And other things.
Yeah.
And that's why everything you have in your packet, a copy has to be in the building permit file. Because if someone comes along later and questions, why did you get to do that? Well, it wasn't easy on your part, you know?
Yeah, no, I understand.
Then everything's done. So-
Yeah, and he has the permit on file as well. That's already been
This is the
submitted.
permit from January 20th that we're referring to?
Yeah, the original permit.
Violation came afterwards, so if you don't mind, I'll add that to the permit.
Yep,
packet.
absolutely.
All of the information that we have from DEC that shows compliance to what that violation was.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're not changing the permit based on this minor encroachment. They're not changing anything. The permit is still as valid as it has been the whole time. Yeah,
Can
yeah.
I just take a look at the map?
Yeah,
I'll hand
absolutely.
it right back to you. I'd just like to take a little look, because,
The 3 monuments are
yeah,
there,
anywhere there's a,
and this is the little encroachment area all the way in the back. So they were clearing all of this, they just went a little bit too far
they
back.
went into the buffer zone beyond where you should have been. I see what happened. There's, just so the board can take a look, there's a house next door that's just outside the buffer. So if you want to just give everybody a quick look. Right, it's a house. It's one more in that row. And I have no further concerns. I just wanted to make sure everything was in the file.
Yeah, for sure. Some DEC violations are very significant and important, for sure.
But I thought we did public hearing on this, but I didn't remember.
Yeah, we did. We did like a month and a half ago.
But we did preliminary plat too?
Yeah,
No.
we were,
Well, we did the initial review of the submittal, put it out for public hearing, go through secret.
We didn't make a decision, though. No.
no, I think the only thing we were waiting on was you specifically wanted to see this, which was resolved a few weeks ago.
And we had to do secret.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We had the public hearing requirement, we had the secret requirement, and then we also needed variance for a couple of,
Right.
The frontage,
Yeah, it was the variance for the width of the frontage of the property only, I think. And that was like a month ago, give or take. Yeah. So I believe we can move this, kick this up to the town board, I believe, after today, my understanding.
I believe so. Anybody have any questions?
No.
Comments? All right, can we have a motion? Anybody?
I can start it.
Me?
am I partway through it already?
You said you'll make a motion provided the paperwork's filed.
I can do that. I was.
Did you not?
It's okay, I'm sorry, I was looking at the plan. I was looking at the plan, and now I can see where you marked the monuments. I will make a motion to approve the plan to build this house as provided, survey provided, and as long as all the documentation regarding the remediated violation is included in the file.
Okay, can I have a second
I'll second.
on the question? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Thanks, Lucas. All right, now we have another seeker review for 6218 Broadway.
If I may, to the board.
Yes, welcome, Mr. Fowler, I'm sorry.
No, not at all. Most of you were here. I believe there's 2 of you that are new. I appeared before this board with Mr. Banasic in a concept presentation for this project. If you have any questions going forward, and if I recall at the time, you had questions that were answered, I will remove myself. If you have any questions at all, I'm going to ask you to write them down and direct them to Emily Orlando, because I have familiarity with, and again, appeared before this board on this project. I believe he's here now with his attorney, Mr. Saley. So I want to make you aware of that. I'm not going to be rude, but I will direct you to
Gotcha.
Mr. Orlando on that.
Okay. This is type 1 action. Mr. Saley, perhaps you could come up and just explain what's going on, because we do have a couple new members, and I'm not sure if they were here when this first... John, were you here for this?
No.
Okay.
No. Very good. So we have, it's about 1.144 acres on Broadway, at the intersection of Broadway and Schwartz. It's currently zoned agricultural residential. We're moving to have it rezoned to light commercial for the purposes of constructing an approximately 8,000 square foot storage building. The building will be primarily storage for automobiles, and there will also be some personal office space for Mr. Banasic. We are also, in order to kind of effectively fit this on the property, we need a area variance regarding a setback on the eastern wall of the building. In order to make this fit on the parcel, we can only set the building back approximately 25 feet from the property line, as opposed to 50. So we need to basically do a rezone with an area variance for the setback on the eastern side of the building.
Okay, thank you.
Would you like me to stay up here?
You could have a seat. If we need to
Great.
ask, refer to you, we will. Stay tuned. All right, so this is a type 1 action, therefore you have to use the long form. I'll do the first sentence, and if it's overall no, we could skip forward. Number 1 is impact on land. Proposed action may involve construction on or physical alteration of the land surface of the proposed site. I think we better go through this one. A, the proposed action may involve construction on land where depth to water table is less than 3 feet. I don't know that one offhand.
I'm looking for it. Where are we?
Chris, do you know the answer to that one? May involve construction on land where depth to water table is less than 3 feet?
I don't believe so, no. I believe the answer is no.
Well drained, it says.
Oh, yeah, I remember
It
seeing
says
that.
well drained.
Yeah.
Depth of water table is listed as unknown.
Okay,
They said it was no slopes, no geologic features, no surface water on site.
okay, good. All right, so the proposed action may involve construction on land where depth to water table is less than 3 feet, that would be no. B, the proposed action may involve construction on slopes of 15% or greater?
No.
No. C, the proposed action may involve construction on land where bedrock is exposed or generally within 5 feet of existing ground surface.
No.
D, the proposed action may involve the excavation and removal of more than 1,000 tons of natural material.
No.
E, the proposed action may involve construction that continues for more than 1 year or in multiple phases. No, right?
No, that's correct.
F, the proposed action may result in an increased erosion, whether from physical disturbance or vegetation removal. No. G, the proposed action is or may be located with a coastal erosion hazard area. No. So overall, no?
No.
Number 2, impact on geological features. The proposed action may result in the modification or destruction of or inhibit access to any unique or unusual landforms on the site.
No.
3, impacts on surface water. The proposed action may affect one or more wetlands or other surface water bodies, for example, streams, rivers, ponds, or lakes.
No, there's none there.
None there? So overall, no for that?
Overall, no, at the location of this 1.1 acre, there's nothing.
Okay. Number 4, impact on groundwater. The proposed action may result in new or additional use of groundwater or may have the potential to introduce contaminants to groundwater or an aquifer. No. 5, impact on flooding. The proposed action may result in development on land subject to flooding. No. 6, impacts on air. The proposed action may include a state-regulated air emission source. No. 7, impact on plants and animals. The proposed action may result in a loss of flora or fauna.
Some, I'd say small, I'd say no. There's not much there. This was a site that had a house. It had buildings on it, which are gone. There's some trees on the site, but I don't know exactly where the boundary line is.
I think because there's some question, we should go through each one. A, the proposed action may cause reduction in population or loss of individuals of any threatened or endangered species as listed by New York State or the federal government that use the site or are found on, over, or near the site. No. Pretty wordy. B, the proposed action may result in a reduction or degradation of any habitat used by any rare, threatened, or endangered species as listed by New York State or the federal government. No? C, the proposed action may cause reduction in population or loss of individuals of any species of special concern or conservation need. No. D, the proposed action may result in a reduction or degradation of any habitat used by any species of special concern and conservation need, as listed by New York State or the federal government. No? E, the proposed action may diminish the capacity of a registered national natural landmark. No.
F, the proposed action may result in the removal of or ground disturbance in any portion of a designated significant natural community. No? G, the proposed action may substantially interfere with nesting, breeding, foraging, or overwintering habitat for the predominant species that occupy or use the project site.
No.
No? H, the proposed action requires the conversion of more than 10 acres of forest, and that's a no. I, proposed action involves use of herbicides or pesticides, commercial, industrial, or recreational projects only.
No.
All right, any other impacts? All right, so overall, no?
Yes, sir.
8, impact on agricultural resources. The proposed action may impact agricultural resources.
Probably go through this one, and a lot is within ag.
Yes. Let's go through it. I think we should make a note that it is in ag district. A, the proposed action may impact soil classified within soil group 1 through 4 of the New York State Land Classification System. I don't know about E2C, E3. Anybody? Representatives, do you know the answer to that one? E2.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the predominant soil type of the lot is.
That's unknown. How big is this parcel again?
It's 1.1 acres.
Out of how much of the original farm is that? That, how much, about in your guesstimate, how much land is behind there that's being farmed? That's gotta be over 20 acres.
I was gonna say approximately, I would say a good 20
Yeah,
acres.
it's good, but 20 acres.
And across this Broadway too was part of that, but immediately behind it is at least 20 acres.
It's leased.
Yeah.
And it's farmed.
Yeah.
But this is the corner piece that has been disturbed for a long time with, I think it had 2 buildings on it.
It was a residential
Yeah.
lot, single
Right.
family house, did burn to the ground.
Right.
Since then, there was, loads
Fill.
of scattered wood chips spread over the surface. So the parcel directly behind it is a 70-acre lot.
Right, but this is being
This is not-
split
not
off
part
from,
of that.
this is separated from that.
Right.
And I do want to answer one of your questions earlier about physical disturbance of features. So the lot is mostly grass, kind of overgrown shrubbery and grass right now. There are some trees on the far, like the northern borders. Those, the plan is intended to leave all of that intact.
That's what I thought after I was looking
Yeah.
at it.
So most of the treescape, if not all of the treescape that's currently present on the property is going to be left intact throughout the construction, and we're mostly going to be disturbing areas that would have been previously disturbed by the residents.
Some overgrown street trees along the Broadway side as well that should be removed in the area.
They're nothing special.
All right, so for this one, can we say no or small?
Yes.
And do we need to make any notation there? Or maybe at the end, we can mention that it's adjacent to,
Adjacent to actively farmed land.
Right up to it.
all 70 acres are active?
They're groomed. They're all groomed.
It's pretty big, yeah.
All right, so we'll say no there. When I get to H, I'll repeat that. B, the proposed action may sever, cross, or otherwise limit access to agricultural land? No. C, the proposed action may result in the excavation or compaction of the soil profile of active agricultural land?
No,
No.
not active.
D, the proposed action may irreversibly convert agricultural land to non-agricultural uses, either more than 2.5 acres if located in an ag district, or more than 10 acres if not within an ag district.
No.
It's not big enough anyway.
Threshold.
E, the proposed action may disrupt or prevent installation of an agricultural land management system.
No.
No. F, the proposed action may result directly or indirectly in increased development potential or pressure on farmland.
Small, if anything.
All right, we'll note that that's a small impact there. G, the proposed project is not consistent with the adopted municipal farmland protection plan.
No.
My feeling is this is not an active farmland, and this is a mixed-use area. Although it's adjacent to the farmland.
I would just put no and small.
I'd say no.
Okay. No or small. So other impacts, we'll say that it's adjacent to a 70-acre farm.
70 acres of actively farmed land.
70 acres of actively farmed land. But the impact would be still small there?
Still small, because it's that portion of the farm that was not actively farmed, that was residential.
Well, let's mention that in our note.
Yeah.
So,
This is the corner where,
Matt, could you say that again? This site was used for,
Single-family residence.
yeah.
That
Without
was destroyed
buildings.
by fire.
Yeah. There were
Yeah.
some outbuildings. There were some small things that all got knocked down, but nothing
what was the other one?
destroyed by fire.
But wasn't there another,
Just a small, there was small,
another small residence?
no.
Small
The
building, it's like a
single-family
storage
home
building or
with
garage.
Okay,
minor
just the one.
outbuildings.
All right, so overall, no there for number 8.
Yep.
Impact, number 9, impact on aesthetic resources. The land use of the proposed action are obviously different from or are in sharp contrast to current land use patterns between the proposed project and a scenic or aesthetic resource. Overall, no. 10, impact on historic and archaeological resources. The proposed action may occur in or adjacent to a historic or archaeological resource.
I think that's a no.
Chris, did you have to get a sign off from on this from the historical?
I did not, because I don't think it's within, it's gotta be within like a certain
Okay,
5,000 feet or something like that, and it wasn't even close to anything.
okay, gotcha, thank you. So that's an overall no.
Yeah, you listed a no.
11, impact on open space and recreation. The proposed action may result in a loss of recreational opportunities or a reduction of an open space resource as designated in any adopted municipal open space plan.
No.
12, we do not have a CEA, so we'll skip number 12. 13, impact on transportation. The proposed action may result in a change to existing transportation systems.
No.
Sound like it?
Right or small. Maybe a small.
Yeah.
The use of the project is going to draw some traffic along state highway.
All right, so I would say under other impacts, may draw how can we say that? May draw,
Additional traffic along the state highway.
may draw some additional traffic. And we'll put small impact. So overall, it's still a no. 14, impact on energy. The proposed action may cause an increase in the use of any form of energy.
Minor.
I don't think it goes past any thresholds though here, does it?
It does
No.
not.
So I would say overall, no. If anybody disagrees, let me know. 15, impact on noise, odor, and light. The proposed action may result in an increase in noise, odors, or outdoor lighting.
There will be outdoor lighting where there is none now, but it's still minor.
All right, so under D, why don't we put down that,
Maybe something like shining in the adjoining properties, no, but
Maybe the sky glow.
proposed action,
Maybe sky glow.
sky glow,
Maybe.
right, right, on E.
E says the proposed action may result in lighting creating sky glow brighter than existing area conditions.
Well, considering the existing conditions are there's no lights, just a street light, that would be very minor.
Well, there's road lighting too.
There's road lighting, street lights, and then there's pack lights on the building,
So minor,
so minor.
small impact under E. Overall, no. 16, on impact on human health. The proposed action may have an impact on human health from exposure to new or existing sources of contaminants.
It doesn't meet any of the thresholds. So no.
Okay? No? 17, consistency with community plans. The proposed action is not consistent with adopted land use plans. This is a rezone, so there is some impact here. Let's go through it. A, the proposed action's land use components may be different from or in sharp contrast to current surrounding land use patterns.
Yeah, there's some.
It's different.
Differences.
Can we say
I
though?
wouldn't say it's sharp contrast. though.
Yeah. Can we make a note that although it's currently zoned, what is it, agriculture?
Yeah.
AR,
You've got,
there are some mixed uses, land uses in that area on
yeah,
Broadway.
There are.
Yeah,
So-
I'd just like to point out, I mean, within a half a mile driving past there, I mean, there's additional kind of storage of buildings that have been going on, like steel construction buildings, and then even the property that's immediately next to that is agricultural looking, even though it's residential, they have some outbuildings and things like that, that kind of look the part for the area, kind of what we're trying to do.
All right, so we'll make a note there, as mentioned. B, the proposed action will cause the permanent population of the city, town, or village in which the project is located to grow by more than 5%. No. C, the proposed action is inconsistent with local land use plans or zoning regulations. Kind of goes back to what we said in
rezone.
A.
right.
I'm going to put down note CA. D, the proposed action is inconsistent with any county plans or other regional land use plans.
No.
No? E, the proposed action may cause a change in the density of development that is not supported by existing infrastructure or is distant from existing infrastructure. No. F, the proposed action is located in an area characterized by low-density development that will require new or expanded public infrastructure. No. G, the proposed action may induce secondary development impacts. For example, residential or commercial development, not included in the proposed action.
No.
I would say no. So still overall no? We agree with that?
Yes.
18, consistency with community character, very similar. The proposed project is inconsistent with the existing community character. I don't think it is,
I don't
but,
think it is.
do you want to go through it? All right, A, the proposed action may replace or eliminate existing facilities, structures, or areas of historic importance to the community. No. B, the proposed action may create a demand for additional community services. No, it's no or small. We okay with that? No?
Yeah.
C, the proposed action may displace affordable or low-income housing in an area where there is a shortage of such housing.
No.
D, the proposed action may interfere with the use or enjoyment of officially recognized or designated public resources. No. E, the proposed action is inconsistent with the predominant architectural scale and character.
No.
No. F, proposed action is inconsistent with the character of the existing natural landscape. No? So, overall, no. That was the end, right?
Yeah, okay.
All right. If you would like to motion for a negative declaration there, please do so now.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Gorski, second by Mr. Reinhold. On the question? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. Now, we did not have that on for we don't have it on for rezone or site plan.
Really shouldn't be until they get the variance.
Right.
All right. I knew there was a reason. Thanks, man.
Right. And in the meantime, if I could remind the applicant to supply an ag data statement, so it can be distributed.
Sure.
And I don't have any engineering yet, plans or
No.
reports or anything.
All right, so Kyle, Chris, didn't we talk about changing the orientation so you could avoid a variance?
Yeah, we looked into
That's not gonna work?
No, it's not feasible, unfortunately.
Okay. And you heard what Matt said?
About the agricultural,
Yeah.
estate.
Okay. So we'll have to wait for the variances before we can put you on for the rezone application and the site plan. Okay? All right, thank you. Okay, what's next? Lancaster Parkway?
Transit Road.
Yeah, Transit Road.
Oh, Transit Road, I'm sorry. We already did Lancaster Parkway. All right, I cut off one of my pages for. All right, so this is the site plan. We previously did the seeker for this, and this is the one where the town board wanted us to do the site plan before they would vote on the rezone, correct? Councilman Mazer? All right, so Jeff, you want to come up? Sure.
Good evening, Jeff Palumbo from the law firm of Block, Longo, Lamarca, and Brzezinski. Did I get that right? Because I don't remember. So we're here, as you've indicated, for recommendation on the site plan. You've seen this many times, the proposed 8,000 square foot mixed-use building, which will have retail on the first floor and 14 residential units on floors 2 and 3, along with a 2,000 square foot bank. The last piece of the puzzle prior to tonight's meeting was the zoning board hearing We had requested 3 variances from the zoning board, and those 3 variances were granted. They were for building height, for separation between the building, and for setback from the north property line. Those variances were all granted. The town board has issued a negative declaration, so the only remaining item on the agenda is a recommendation from this board on the site plan.
Have there been any changes since we last saw you? Anything?
I don't remember all the timing
I know,
anymore.
it's been a while.
But the only major change to the site plan, I think, was the right turn only out of the north parking lot. And I think we submitted a revised plan that showed right turn only. So you would not be able to make left turns out of this parking lot. I mean, out of the.
And I think that's significant. You know, we were looking at eliminating that altogether, but I've been there several times, and I think that would be counterproductive.
That's how we feel.
That's my opinion, but members, any questions?
No, we've seen it before. It's a perfect project.
Just to remind you what the building looks like. I know you've seen it.
All right, for our new members, and John, again, I don't know if, because this goes back to 2021, and I'm not sure if you were around for this, but there was some discussion from the owners of the plaza that this site would block the view of the existing stores. The zoning board did grant the variances. That's one consideration there. Anybody have any comments about that?
Yeah, you know, when you get jammed up at the light over there, you're at a crowd right at that intersection, and the trees block this out as much as the building does. You can't see the tops of the building at all, even from the trees. And so that, it's 3 stories high, it's gonna block my view of tops, I think falls with just even the site itself, as it exists now. You can't see the tops because of the trees.
And the zoning board specifically found that in granting the height variance.
Was it Tops that was,
No.
it was
It was both.
Supercuts and the sign business, right?
It was both Tops and.
Yeah, Tops did send a letter,
Oh, okay, sorry.
and I wanted to bring that out so that we're not ignoring that. Tony, I think you had some trepidation. Any comments?
My vote will still be the same as it was last time.
Okay.
I honestly am surprised that the zoning board gave you that height variance, because I don't think there's a need for that height of a building in that place based on what was there before. My opinion.
Ed, any comments?
Nothing from what's been out there.
Ed, anything else? No. Councilman Mazur? Okay. I don't think things are perfect, but I lean towards approving. But that's just my opinion.
I'm not real thrilled about 3 stories either, but I like a mixed use in an area where you've already got shopping and there's restaurants around and there's a light, so pedestrians can cross transit at the light. I just would rather also have had it 2 stories, but I think that the bank is going to make things a little tight for traffic. But on the other hand, the traffic will be coming out at the light, and if the traffic gets a little jammed up right in front of this building, my response is I'm just not going to go there.
Right.
So, you know, sometimes you pull in someplace, you go, too crowded, and you just don't go. So I think the residents are going to have stores on the ground floor that whatever it turns out to be, they will be dealing with it. Is there going to be assigned parking, do you know, for the residences, or just catch a spot when you can?
I think we hadn't really talked about that, but if it turns out there's a need for
You could do
assigned
that.
parking, we can do that.
You could do that.
Yes.
Will the parking be strictly relegated to the section surrounding the new
No.
structure? For example, like, meaning, is overnight parking permitted in the commercial areas behind
Yeah,
it?
there are reciprocal easements with the plaza owners, so they can park on our property, we can park on their property, and they can utilize our driveways, and we can utilize their driveways.
Now, I'm pretty consistent with the height concern as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't there, I might have these mixed up.
That's where the rest-
Was there a bank on the other end?
No.
No, a drive-through bank or
there is on this,
something?
but there's not one there now.
Right, okay. On the other end of the parking lot of Tops, though?
M&T was further up by,
Yeah, it's not on,
the other restaurant.
Right.
It's past
T is
that
on the
entrance.
By,
south
by the,
side
behind Denny's.
of
Yes.
the light.
Okay.
So this is on the north side.
you know, and again, with the height issue, that really has been the number one issue from the very beginning.
Yep.
And as I said, there were appraisals done on their side and on our side that were submitted, and the zoning board of appeals members indicated that, particularly the chairwoman, that she drove it both ways, north and south, and determined the same thing that Chairman Connolly said, that said that if you're driving north on it, you can currently potentially see both buildings. If you're driving south on Transit, you can't see anything until you get past the Forest View Restaurant. You just can't. So, and they adopted the same language that we've been talking about, whether the building's 30 feet, 45 feet, or 80 feet. It doesn't have any impact on the plaza behind.
But the height variance, the only person benefiting from the height variance is the developer.
Well, we think the
It does
town...
nothing for the town, it doesn't really do anything for anybody else except for the developer.
Well, it certainly increases the tax revenue for the town by having an extra floor of residential development there. And so if you have 7 additional units in there, all being, the building is taxed at a higher value, and that's certainly a revenue inducement for the town as well.
What are the size of the units, bedroom-wise, square footage, are they varied?
What are we at? About 1,200. Yeah, about 1,200 to 1,400 square feet.
Each unit?
Yeah.
Jeff, I don't know how familiar you are with our comprehensive plan, but can you
Sure.
mention that is this consistent with our comprehensive plan?
Yeah, I can cite exactly from our application what the comprehensive plan points to, but going from my weak memory these days, what the comprehensive plan calls for is mixed-use development in the western portion of the town in areas that are heavily traveled. And we pointed to the section in the comprehensive plan that specifically refers to that. It also talks about this type of development in areas where existing utilities are there, so that new utilities do not have to be built to accommodate this type of development. There's several others that I'm failing to remember right now, but there are at least 4 that we pointed out that specifically point to this type of development on this site.
Yeah.
I think one of them was adding density in areas that already have mixed uses.
Correct. That is,
Something like that.
that is one of them.
We've got all those apartment buildings not far from here.
Right next door,
Yeah.
immediately next door.
Yeah, I think it's consistent. I don't think it does much for our access management, but I think it helps a little bit because of the right out only.
Right.
Because right now, people are going in any way they can. So hopefully it'll make it a little better. All right, if nothing else, is anybody inclined to make a motion?
I'll move that we approve the plan as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, on the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
One nay.
Motion carried. So 2 nays? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Neil?
Neil? No.
I apologize I didn't speak up sooner, but I'm actually here on behalf of the strip mall that's located behind the development, and we wanted to speak to our objections to the project before you guys voted, but you just did, so now I'm not sure if you would still like me to.
Well,
do
this
that.
is the planning board, we're advisory,
Right.
so we don't have public comment
Okay.
except for at the public hearing when we rezone.
Okay.
There would be time at the town board, so the town board still has to vote on this, so this hasn't gone through yet. So there'll be, you definitely can speak at that. And if you want to send in written comments as well, that'd be fine. But I would recommend to you that you go to the town board meeting and speak then.
Okay, great. A few of the other people's sides got to speak, so I just wasn't positive what that procedure was, but thank you. No.
Okay, all right, thanks.
May I ask, you did send in written comments?
We definitely had.
Yeah,
in the
we had read
past,
those.
But, okay. I just was told to
I
come
can't
here.
speak for the rest of the board, but I took those
We got 'em
concerns
some time
under
ago.
advisement.
Mm-hmm.
And then I made my decision with those in mind. So it wasn't, you were not ignored.
Yeah, I have all the comments here, actually. What's your name again?
Samantha Rubino.
Samantha?
I'm an associate attorney with Knopf Shaw.
Okay.
Right, and we got a letter from the attorneys.
Yes,
Right.
yes, over all of the applications over the last few months, years.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's the end of our agenda items, right?
Yes.
I think so.
All right, so a couple discussion items. Field Stream should be coming in next week. All right? Next meeting, 2 weeks. Just to get ahead of it a little bit, I'm not sure if they've addressed their lot sizes and,
They looked at the lot sizes, I think the frontages are expanded, I think there's fewer lots, but they still have lots facing William Street with driveways on William Street.
they said they went from 8 to 6, but it looked to me like there was still 8 there, but I might be looking at it wrong. And they chose not to align with the Avian Way. That's their choice. But the county had asked that they do that. But I don't know if there's any comments about that, but they'll be coming in next week, so. Also next week, we should be discussing the rezone for the Carroll property. 2 weeks, I mean. Next meeting, sorry.
I thought you lived here.
He did send a preliminary drawing. I thought I did answer him about the preliminary drawing. It was a little bigger than did you see it, Councilman Mazur? Well, we were talking about, I don't know if we were talking about 2/3 of an acre or 2 to 3 acres when we were.
I thought 2 to 3 acres.
Okay, either way, he went up to 7.4 acres for the rezone area, which I thought was quite an increase.
Have you ever responded to the inquiry as well? I'll grab some references.
What's that?
I'll grab some references. I've yet to respond to that inquiry.
Okay. So right now, I'd like to see it a bit smaller, and I know Councilman Leary had talked about having access to the,
Rest of the Arizona.
and I think there would be access, but you'd be going over the rezoned area. And I don't think I would like that. I think there should be an area that's separate, personally. Because then you're kind of combining zones, you know? I'd like to see it more separate. But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. He should be coming in 2 weeks. Matt, is there any update on the new applications?
I've been meaning to get to it for a month.
Okay, I know you're
It's
busy.
coming.
Anything else to discuss? Matt, anything else?
We're still working on code adoption. Title 19 needs to be done by the end of the year. There were some other topics that have come up since then. I know you alluded to it briefly last night. The RV, commercial vehicle, sports
Anybody
vehicle.
has any ideas or suggestions? I know you talked about it, Peter, already. Submit them.
It's being a challenge at this point, so we're working together to try to find a middle ground and try to see if there's some kind of resolution we can come to, tweak the existing code, or better identify where those locations could be.
Matt, maybe you mentioned this, but are you aware of the village having any specific,
They just went through a revamp of their recreational vehicle code. It was a long and drawn-out process. I believe they just adopted it.
okay.
We have other, I believe, supplied some other there.
Every municipality that touches our border, we have a copy of their code and how it speaks to the RVs. It's not just campers, but it's RVs, commercial vehicles, any vehicle, trailers, things of that nature.
Yeah, I said it at the last meeting. I don't believe a blanket rule is going to help. It's going to work for Lancaster. I think a zone approach is really the most. I mean, some people live in, really far off areas with space, and I don't think they should have to abide by the same rule that the houses are 3 feet apart. Yeah.
We don't want to rush it. We're going to have, inform on it. The zoning and planning committee, everybody wants to voice your opinion. Then eventually have a public hearing.
Yeah.
Just to collect more data on what the residents want.
Specifically, do you want the planning board to act on this in the next?
If you guys want to come up with a recommendation, that's fine. Take it to the town, or consideration. Even if they're individual ideas. Some towns have it, from May 1st until October 15th, the parking drive.
Yeah.
As long as there's certain setbacks and all that.
Well, I don't know if the village has their new code for this topic. Is that something that we should model? You must have had input into that.
I did, and I believe it may be included with that information that I had sent, the most recent version that was adopted. Size mattered, the length of the vehicle, the duration of the vehicle, the parking is going to be there.
I think you gotta establish the minimum dimension from the right of way or from the sidewalk or something.
That's already established.
And then maybe it makes sense to use the same dates as parking on the streets so that it's not a separate date and it's something that coincides with something else.
Yeah, these workshops should really hammer out all the specifics.
Try to do it next week.
Matt will be here. He's busy next week. He'll be here.
Well, I think we're going to be pretty busy next week, but if you have any comments next week, let's bring them in.
2
and
weeks.
then and keep saying it. In 2 weeks. And then we'll actually put it on as an agenda item for the first meeting in October. Why don't we do that? So next week will be a discussion. I did it again. Next meeting will be a discussion of that topic one more time. All right, if nothing else, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion?
Motion by John Kopus, second.
Second.
Second by Rebecca Anderson. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. See you next week.
Tony, you got a second?
I just think
Have a good
as I
2
go around my
weeks.
neighborhood, I've
Enjoy the
got
last of the warm weather.
75-foot wide subdivision lots with
On the downturn.
not just RVs hanging over the sidewalk, but people park their pickup trucks with
Hitches?
their hitches. And if I go over one more hitch, I'm going to start calling my attorney.